What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Hippo Supercoach, and today we're going to be talking about the best trade targets going into round 5. So another very important week in terms of trading, so we've got to make sure we nail these picks, otherwise we will fall behind the pack. So let's firstly go through who people are bringing in. I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to go through people who are traded out, and then I'm going to go through my trades and what I'm thinking for the next few weeks, what is my plans. So before we get into it, please drop a like, hit that subscribe button. It will really help channel and the algorithm. So let's get into it. First player that's being traded in is Sam Closey. So look, I'm not sure about his job security, but he's a 102k rookie, basement price that dropped a 108 score. So break even's very, very nice, minus 68. If he goes anywhere near that score again this week, he's going to be an absolute must-have next week. So I think people are jumping on early, and I'm one of them, just because, obviously 102k, there's not too much risk involved. It's never really ideal to go early on a rookie, but at this point, there's not really anyone else on the bubble, especially in the back line. So I'm happy to grab someone like Closey and just, if he gets dropped, he gets dropped. I don't think he will. I think he's probably better than Sexton. I think Gold Coast would be stupid to bring Sexton back in for him because, first game and he does that. Next guy, which is very, very interesting, is Jason Horne-Francis. So this is one I'm not too sure about because it looks like he has a potential to get forward status. And if he does get forward status, jumping on him now would be very, very nice. We looked at the CBAs and basically it's a little bit confusing, and I'll bring them up real quick. So if we look at Port Adelaide CBAs right here, it's interesting because in round 1 we have Horne-Francis with 71% and Drew with 21%, and the rest are sort of floating, between the 40 to 60%, fair enough. Then we come back to round 4 and we see Drew's got 77% and Horne-Francis has 65%. So Drew's gone up 50% in those 2 games that Horne-Francis has played. The only issue with round 5 and onwards is Ollie Wines is coming back. So there's going to be someone that misses out. I don't know if it's going to be Horne-Francis. I do know he is a threat up forward though, and very damaging up forward. So that's something to consider. I'm just not sure how that split's going to look with all 5 of these guys getting bulk CBAs. It just can't happen. Or was it 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, all 5. So that's one thing I would be a little bit concerned about with Horne-Francis. And like I said, if he doesn't get that forward status, it's probably going to be a failed pick just because he's not going to be a top 8 midfielder. So look, it's a risk. If you want to take it, feel free, but I personally will not be doing that. Unless I see something like, this is the thing, because if Horne-Francis plays forward, then he's probably not going to score as much, but then if he plays mid, he's going to score more, but not get forward status. So it's sort of a balancing act. We need him to be somewhere in the middle where he plays enough mid to score well and plays enough forward to get the DPP. So we'll see what happens, but I don't think I'll be taking a risk on him. But 11,000 people are. And let's see how much of the top 1% are. Okay, so 182 people out of the top 1%. That's still pretty high. Anyway, moving on, we've got Will Graham. People bring him in. Now, got a lot of CBAs, which is interesting. Only scored a 67, but it's still pretty good for someone who's only 117k. Break end of -12. Look, Will Graham's one I'm willing to wait a week on, but I could see why people would bring him in this week. But yeah, for me, I'll be waiting a week. Lloyd Meek. So another very, very interesting pick. I do like it, but I also don't. It's one that I'm really on the fence with, and I could potentially trade him in and could be persuaded to bring him in, but at this point I don't have him. I just think, look, the pros are there. Like, he's a great ruck. If you saw rucking, he scored 130. But at this point, and he's got money to make. Obviously, breaking of -14. He's cover for Grundy this week, so if we get a nice ton there for Grundy, that'd be huge. But it's like, at this point, do we really want someone who we haven't even thought about all preseason or all season until like this round? He scored 88 last week, or the week before last, sorry, and then a 130. So it's like, I don't know. He's got a hard run too. So what is it? It's Wits, Cherry, Grundy, English, Marshall. So that is not a good run at all. They're all restrictive rucks. And that's it. Look, if he had a nice, easy rucking run, I'd be like, yeah, maybe. But yeah, I think for me, that's probably the turning point in the pick and the deciding point, I should say, because yeah, it's a bit too risky for my liking, and the price is pretty awkward. Yeah, so I don't think I'll pick Meek. But yeah, I could see why people want to jump off Grundy, because the issue with Grundy is, right, he's not going to be a top 2 ruck. Yes. Then you look at Marshall or English, in my opinion, the only other 2 relevant rucks. Marshall's got the question mark of other rucks being played with him. I think Ross Lyon said that this week, so they might be bringing in another ruck just to ease the load on Marshall. That's a big red flag. And then English has Sam Darcy taking a fair chunk of his ruck time. So it's like, you can't, yes, they're both going to be good scorers, but do you really want to trade out Grundy for someone like that who you don't even know who's going to be that second ruck? It seems like Gawn's clear R1, but who's going to be that R2? We don't know yet. So look, when there's times of doubt in between picks, I'd rather just, stay away from both those players and then just wait and see how things unfold. Which is why I'll probably hold Grundy, which is not something I want to do, but at this point, I just don't know who to get. And that's why I think people are bringing in Meek, because I don't trust either of those 2 big dogs. And it is a cash play at the end of the day, so I see the reasoning. Let's talk about Sam Flanders. So if you don't have him, I think, look, I'm not sure if he's a must-have. He did score 125 playing on the back line. I didn't see his game fully. I don't know if he had kick-ins, but I do prefer him in the midfield role, I think. But still, a forward that's playing on the back line that has his scoring caliber, bring him in. And what's his break even? 89, so it's not, crazy low, but I think I would be bringing in Sam Flanders this week if you don't have him. Jeremy Sharp, look, if you back him, go for it. I just think, for me, the ship has sailed. He's already made 130k, but still has a very low break even. So one more big score and he's going to make bank. I think he's a really good player. I just don't think I'm in the position to bring him in with my team structure, but I could see why people would. If you got some extra cash, go for it. Sam Darcy, yeah, you can still bring him in, minus 21 break even. He's already made 80k, so it's a bit rough. But yeah, you should have brought him in last week. Jack Steele, so this is one I'm very keen on and I'm bringing in myself. He's coming in no matter what. So he plays at Canberra this week, where he's gone 140 last time he played GWS over there. And if you look at his Marvel games, look how many of these games say MARV. And I think the last, if we go here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of his last 10 games at Marvel Stadium. That is mental. And the reason it's mental is because he's playing in a smaller ground where there's a lot of contests and a lot of contested ball and a lot of tackles. And that is exactly what Jack Steele loves. So I think Steele, look, I'm so annoyed I didn't start him, but I think we just got to get him in, cut our losses, and just accept that he's going to be, I think he's going to be a top 8 mid. I'm pretty comfortable to say. I looked at his numbers from the 2022 season, or 2021 season, where he averaged the big bad 126. So this year he averaged 126 on the dot, and his numbers are very similar, averaging 28 disposals again, averaging the 8.5 tackles, so looks like he's fully back to his best, and that's why I'm going to bring him in and just set and forget. And he's a captain option, which is really, really good. And 589k, look, he's gone up 60k, but he's still very, very cheap for what he's capable of. This guy, you've got to remember, this guy was a 650k player back in 2021. Tom Brown, yes, you can still bring him in. I think that was a bit of a fluke game, though. I don't see him ever doing that again, 95, but who knows. Playing backline in Richmond was going to be a fair bit of ball down there, so yeah, it's one to consider. Now let's move on to trade it out. So James Jordan, yep, no brainer. Break even's too high now, 78. So the general rule of thumb with break evens and trading people out is when their break even kind of matches or passes their average, that's when you get rid of them. Blake Howes, a similar boat. So he's averaging the 59 and his break even's 56. So get rid of him. Grundy, look, I see why people are getting rid of him, but like I said, I'm not in the position to do that. I think I've got bigger problems in my team. Pink, yep. So Nick Dacos, don't know why people were trading him out this round. He's averaging 107. Yes, we're not going to get him for 1 week, but it's only 1 week. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it last week when you knew he was going to cop McGuinness. And McGuinness now, McGuinness had him early and then just let him go. So, and Dacos cruised to a nice ton, like a 108 or something. D'Ambrosio, this is not someone I want to have in my team anymore. I brought him in after his 2 good scores, and I got a nice 68 and a 63. Fuck you, D'Ambrosio. You're never coming in my team again. I always knew it was a bit of a fraud. Comben McKercher is one I am trading out. 43 break even. Yes, he probably hits it, and he's probably going to play better. But look, I didn't like his midfield role on the weekend. Thought it was really... He's just not ready for the midfield. His body's tiny, and he's just a lot of clangers and a bit fumbling in that midfield. Like, he could get the ball, but just, yeah, he's always under pressure, and I don't think he's ready for an AFL midfield role. So, yeah, get him back to the back line, Clarko, and maybe he'll do better. Marty Hoare, I guess you can trade him out. He's injured for a couple of weeks. All right, so out of all the players... Look, I've got a lot of the big dogs here. Where's Jack Steele? Oh, he's up here. So I've got a lot of the big dogs. The ones I'm missing is obviously Heaney. Heaney's destroyed my team in so many ways, but it's not too late to get him, and I'm going to get him next week. I think I tweeted something about fading him and the possibility of doing that. I do think he will cop some attention, and I do think he will regress in his average a little bit, but at this point, I'm not going to take that risk any longer. He's killing me, and he is a forward at the end of the day. 640k for a forward, it's a joke to pay that much for him, but when he's averaging 144, you got to get him in. So I'm going to be bringing him in next week. And then we need to look at Merritt. As soon as Heaney's in, Merritt's got to be on the radar, and it's going to be a lot of downgrading to get these 2 guys, but we have to do it. Merritt's got a great run coming up. We all know that. And then once I have Merritt in my team and Heaney, I think I'll really be able to push hard for a decent ranking. But yeah, generally structure-wise, it looks something like this, the team. And yeah, I like it. Why does this scroll not just sit on it? I like it. Still got plenty of money on the bench. So what? Cadman and Darcy, they got a bit of money to make. Cadman maybe not as much, but Darcy, yes. So they could be my cash for Merritt. Sanders will obviously help that as well, and Roberts. So I do have enough cash to grab these guys. It just could take maybe 3 weeks instead of 2. I've got 126k in the bank. So next week I plan on going Roberts maybe, and Roberts and maybe Cadman and Sanders maybe. Maybe those 3 to get Heaney. Like, at the end of the day, Sanders and all that, yeah, they're nice to have on the field, but they're not keepers. So I don't think it really matters getting rid of them, whether it's this week, next week. I don't think it really matters. Roberts probably makes another 50k at most. Same with Sanders. So, yeah. I'm happy to jump off them early if it means I can get an uber premium like Isaac Heaney, or the number 1 player in the whole freaking game like Isaac Heaney. But yeah, so my trades this week, I don't even think I've talked about them yet. This is what I'm looking at. So out D'Ambrosio, McKercher, and Fisher. In Comben, Steele, Closey. So reason I'm bringing in Comben, I don't know if I talked about him, but playing intercept at North, very, very nice role. They have Core and they have Callan Dawson. Those 2 guys are the lockdown defenders there. And then it seems like they want Comben floating, playing that Sicily, Vlosten sort of role, Luke Ryan role, where they just intercept all day. Plenty of marks, plenty of kicks. So yeah, 227k for a player in that role is very juicy. The only question mark is if that role stays, do they change up the structure of that backline? North are a team that's not going to win too much. So you think they possibly could change up how they're playing, change up their backline tactically. So that's a worry, but at this point, I'm just happy to bring him in, get a downgrade option for Fisher, and free up some coin to get big bad Jack Steele, who, look, I think he could be M1 by the end of the year. I really do. I think that last 10 games, he's going to go nuts. Yeah, so very keen on that. In terms of captain, vice captain, I'm going to play it pretty safe, going into Bont. nothing really to talk about here. Gorn plays Brisbane. He scored 215 last time he played them. And then Bont plays Essendon, and I think at Marvel, that's a pretty good matchup for Bont. Don't think he'll cop any attention. And yeah, form's pretty good from what we saw last week. So that's it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.